Hey everyone, thanks so much for stopping by today. We are going to be making pumpkin pie cheesecake with Gingersnap Crust. Now, I'm excited for this. I am not a big fan of pumpkin pie, to be honest, but I'm willing to try this one out because it has cream cheese and it has some Gingersnap cookies that I've already tried already and they're really good. So I'm excited to try it. Let's check it out and see how it goes. Okay, so it's time to make our crust, and I have our Gingersnap cookies here. I'm gonna put them in the food processor and make them so small it's like sand. So let's get that in there, and then we'll pull them out and combine that with our melted butter. Let's go. Okay, that sounds sandy. Ugh. Let me do that again. It looks good though. All those cookies crumbled. Let me do that again. Okay, it is sandy. So I'm gonna pop this out. It smells so good. And I'm gonna put this in our bowl. Oh, you know what? It could have used a little bit more. Look, it's a little, could have been a little bit more refined. Let me throw it in here for a couple more pulses. Oh, there we go. All right, let's see. That looks better. All right, so we're gonna put this in our bowl. And we're gonna combine our 5 tablespoons of unsalted butter into the mixture. And we're gonna combine. All right, so now that our 2 ingredients are combined, I'm taking 2 cups out, throwing it into our spring foam pan. A little bit more, right? There we go, 2 cups. So you know what, I'm just gonna do a little bit more, because why not? And I'm gonna use the bottom of a glass to really press in the bottom crust. And what you can't see are my 2 dogs waiting for me to drop one of these cookie crumbs because they smell the ginger cookies and they say, gimme. Okay, I think we are ready to go. So I have the oven set to 350. I'm gonna put this in the oven for 7 minutes and take it out and let it cool. In the meantime, we're gonna get started on our pumpkin filling. See you in 7. All right, so our Gingersnap crust is ready to be taken out of the oven. It's been 7 minutes. Let's take it out. We're gonna let it cool for 7 minutes. In the meantime, we're gonna get the filling started. Okay, so it's time to make our pumpkin filling. So I have 1.5 pounds of cream cheese. Make sure to leave this out for the day to make sure it's nice and soft because you do not want to work with cold cream cheese. So I'm gonna put our cream cheese in. Using our paddle attachment. We're gonna paddle this for a little bit and make it soft, and then we'll add the rest of our ingredients one by one. All right, that was easy because it's so soft. So now we're gonna add in our brown sugar, which is 1.25 cups. And we're gonna mix this. Okay, so before I add in each egg, I'm gonna scrape the bottoms here and the sides. We want to make sure everything is combined. All right, so let's add in our first egg, one at a time. First egg, one egg down. Combine. Okay. Before I add the second egg, I'm just going to scrape the sides again. Oh, need to add the egg. Okay. Mix this up. Okay, let's scrape again. And last but not least, also make sure that when you're working with these eggs, they're room temperature. So these have been out for a couple hours as well. Okay, we have our 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I'm gonna mix that. Okay, now before I add the rest of the ingredients, I'm just gonna scrape the sides again, make sure there are no remnants of cream cheese hanging around the bottom or the sides. Okay. Now I'm gonna add in the pumpkin puree, which is fun. Let's see if I can, here we go. It's a little better. Okay, we have some cornstarch, some salt, and some pumpkin pie spice. And we're gonna mix this until it's all combined. Okay, so I'm just gonna scrape the sides again before we call this part of the baking complete. Okay, this is ready to go and to be ready incorporated into our ginger snap crust. So I'm just going to clean this up and we're going to start combining and get this in the oven. All right, so our next step, now that we have our crust is cooled, we're going to take some aluminum foil, put this down on our counter, put this on top, and we're just gonna wrap the edges with the aluminum foil. And I'm noticing that this side's good, but I need to get this side. So I'm just gonna do one more sheet, just to make sure I get all the sides covered. How does that look? Good? Okay. All right. So now I'm going to put this on our pan that has about an inch lip here because we're going to be boiling some water as we speak, and we're going to put the boiled water around the side before we put this in the oven. In the meantime, I'm going to take our filling, I'm going to dump it in here. Okay, now I'm going to jiggle and make sure that there's no air bubbles. I do see some air bubbles coming up, so I'm going to keep doing that. Actually, I'm going to do this on the countertop, I think, to be safe. Jiggle. You can hear my dogs. They are equally as excited to try this. They smell the ginger snap cookies. They smell the pumpkin puree. I mean, they are ready. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this in the pan for now, and we're gonna wait for our water to be boiled. I put the temperature down to 325, and we're gonna wait till that's boiled, add in the water, and throw it in the oven. Okay, so the water is boiled. I just turned off the heat. I am gonna transfer that into a nice Purex. That way I can pour that more easily into the pan while this is in the oven. Oh shoot, I moved it. All right, should be good. Got our boiling water. Now I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna pop it into the oven and then very carefully add in the water. Dun, dun, dun. And we got our water. You know what? I'm gonna pull this out. Make my life easier. I'm gonna take our hot water. Okay, I think that's good. I'm gonna close the oven and we're gonna leave it in there for an hour and 5 minutes. Okay, see you in an hour. Okay, so our pumpkin pie cheesecake is ready. It's been an hour and 5 minutes. We're gonna grab it, put it on this wire rack for about an hour, and once that hour is over, we're gonna wrap it fully in foil, pop it in the freezer for overnight or up to 5 hours, but I'm gonna leave it overnight. Tomorrow, we're gonna make our caramel sauce for this and our whipped cream, and then we're gonna give it a try. So let's go grab the pumpkin pie cheesecake. Okay, it looks pretty good, and it smells very good. So we'll wrap this up in an hour, throw it in the freezer, and I'll see you tomorrow. Hey everyone, so we are ready to get our second part of our pumpkin cheesecake ready to go. So we took this out of the freezer a little bit ago, and in the meantime, while this is a little bit defrosting, we are going to make our spiced whipped cream and our caramel sauce. So let's get started with our caramel sauce. Let's just follow up with our whipped cream and then assemble everything together to finally try this pumpkin cheesecake. Okay, so to make our caramel sauce, we're going to pour in a saucepan here, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, some water, and some cream of tartar. And we're gonna mix this until the mixture is all wet. Whoops, got some rogue sugar, that's okay. And once this is all combined, the sugar is all wet, I'm gonna turn up the heat a little bit, and we're gonna let this boil for 8 to 10 minutes and have this become an amber color. At that point, we're gonna take this off the heat and combine the rest of our ingredients, which is milk, sugar, and some kosher salt. So I'm gonna turn up the heat a little bit. I'm gonna consistently stir this, but we really do want that boil first, and then have this turn the color to the amber color that we're looking for. And we'll immediately take it off after. It's a boiling, so she says 8 to 10 minutes. It's on medium high. Seven more minutes. Okay, I think this is ready to go. This is very ambery, so I'm gonna turn this off and remove it from the heat. I just got a whiff of it. I swallowed some of this mixture. So now now that this is off the heat, I'm gonna let this sit for 1 minute, and then we're gonna add in our butter, our salt, and our cream. Okay, so now that it's cooled a little bit, I'm gonna add in our cream, our butter. I'm gonna let this melt. I actually think I was supposed to add in the butter first, but that's okay. Wow. Well, this smells good. And then we're going to add in our kosher salt. Stir until the butter is completely melted. Okay. Now that this is all finished, we're gonna go ahead and make our spiced whipped cream and let this cool, and then we'll be able to combine everything. Okay, so now that our caramel sauce is chilling away, we're gonna go ahead and make our spiced brown sugar whipped cream. In order to do so, we're gonna melt some of our vanilla bean paste, brown sugar, cinnamon, and some water. Now, if you remember, we actually did make this for our peach pie trifle, and it was so good, so I'm very excited to have this part of the pumpkin pie cheesecake. All right, so I'm gonna put this on a low heat for now while I add all of our ingredients, which is water, 1/3 cup of brown sugar, some vanilla bean paste, and our cinnamon. And we're gonna let this melt, and we want it to boil for about 3 minutes. So I'm gonna get a whisker and just start whisking away and wait for this to boil for 3 minutes. Leave this here, wait till it starts boiling, it's all mixed together. So now we just want it to boil. It already smells perfect. Okay, so it's starting to boil, so I'm gonna set the timer for 3 minutes and come back. Okay, there goes the timer. I'm gonna take this off the heat and we're gonna let this cool for 20 minutes. And don't put it in the fridge. Alrighty, so it's time, now that our spiced brown sugar is ready and cooled for about 20 minutes, we are going to start whipping our whipped cream. So I have about a cup. I'm gonna throw this in and get this whipped. And as it gets thicker, I'm just upping the speed a little bit. Okay, it is ready for the mixture here. So I'm just gonna take that off a little bit. And I am going to add in, let's make sure we have to mix slowly. Okay, so we're gonna add in our brown sugar mix. And once this is added, we'll just mix this a little bit further, a little longer. All right. We're gonna get these sides. It just smells so good. This thing is too good. Get the last little bit of brown sugar mixture in there. Mix it up. One more side. See some brown sugar. Can't leave that behind because that's like the best part, so. All right. It is ready to go. So let's assemble our pumpkin pie cheesecake and let's take a bite, finally. Okay, so our cheesecake is ready to go. So I'm just gonna use a knife and go around the edges here. Make sure it's separated from the pan, along the sides. Might go another round. Make sure it really comes out. It's really in there. Just want to make sure it comes out when I take the pan off. Okay. It's time. Okay, there we go. It looks pretty good. Okay, so now I'm going to drizzle on some caramel sauce. It's a little not as smooth as I would like, to be honest. Look at this. I don't know. What do we think? Doesn't look so appealing right now, to be honest. So what I might do is just do a little thing like this. Nope, not even sticking. Uh-oh. Okay. So I am going to move ahead. Something's wrong with this caramel sauce. It's probably my fault. But I am going to drizzle. If you remember yesterday, we had some crumbs left over from the ginger snap. So I am going to put some on top just to give it a little extra texture on the top. Because this would have been on top of the caramel sauce. So I'm just going to add this on. Spread it around a little bit maybe. Just my hands. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to cut a slice, throw on some whipped cream, and try it out. Okay, so you saw that my caramel sauce was a little chunky, so I put it back on the stove for a little bit just to get it warmed up so it becomes a little bit more saucy. So I know that I added the crumble already, but I'm just going to add it on top. And let's see. See, now we're talking. Right? Yeah. And she does actually say this to do this by slice, but for our little show here, we did the whole cake. Okay, so now that we added the drizzle, I'm gonna cut it up and we're gonna add our spiced sugar whipped cream and we're gonna try it. Let's do it. Okay, it's time to finally try our cheesecake. Waited 24 hours for this very moment. So let's dig in and find out if we like it or not. Oops. Okay, this is surprisingly very good. Like I said in the beginning, I'm not a big pumpkin pie person, but the cheesecake elevates it completely. So if you're looking for a little bit of an elevation for your Thanksgiving or Christmas or any holiday that you have coming up, make sure that you try this. It is very good. I probably would do without the caramel sauce and just leave it with the crumble and the spiced whipped cream. It's very good and very tasty. So thanks so much for coming by. Thanks for watching me make this pumpkin pie cheesecake. I look forward to seeing you next time. Please check me out on the Peppered Peach and on Instagram, and I'll see you next time. We're-